Well, here we are at the end of week 2, post the release of the final paper from the Royal Commission. So let's just have a little look at what's actually transpired over the last week, from my point of view anyhow. So we've continued on with the presentations we're doing on radio, speaking places there, and they've been very positive. It's interesting how a lot of the radio journalists are really positive in support of mortgage broking, potentially more so compared to the TV journalists and interviewers. They seem to be a little bit harsher. The radio guys seem to be very supportive, and there's quite a few that have come out in support. And on that, interesting enough, I was meant to meet with Pauline Hanson back at the back end of last week, and we wound up meeting with her senior policy advisor on the weekend past. Pauline came out and supported mortgage broking, so it was great. So we are speaking to several independent senators at the moment to gain their support for the mortgage broking sector. Then the week began. So I don't know what your week was like, but my week started at 6 a.m. on Monday to be on radio first thing with 2CC in Canberra, and I didn't get home till 6:30 Friday night, so I've been away all week, and family's not really impressed by that, but hey, we've got to do what we've got to do. But it was interesting. During the week, I met with executives in Suncorp, talking about the third-party distribution channels. That was a good conversation. So the sun's coming through a bit there. And I then had the opportunity to meet with the new Commissioner for ASIC that sits over above Michael Sadat, a guy by the name of Sean Hughes. It was a good conversation. He seems like a decent bloke. I'm looking forward to our interaction this year that will include Sean in what's going on. Very approachable, knowledgeable man. So that's good. And then did a bit of time with Finance and Coffee, and we did a panel session there, and that was excellent. I was then meant to go to Launceston to be with our YBR's commercial conference, and I got a call from Chris Bowen's office, and Chris was wanting me to come meet with him, but unfortunately I was heading to Tasmania, not to Canberra. But on Wednesday I looped through Canberra specifically to meet with him at his request, and had a discussion with Chris and Claire O'Neill, and that was a reasonable conversation. And then after that headed off over to our commercial and spoke at their conference, and of course Friday was a try and make my way home from being interstate. So that's what happened during the week. But the outcomes of that, I think we need to see what evolves over the next couple of weeks, and obviously all that's happening at the moment will run to the election as far as getting messages out, keeping things focused, and keeping the pressure on to make sure that our politicians understand that value proposition of mortgage broking, which, let me assure you, they actually do know that message. It's not that they don't. I think it's keeping up the public pressure as such that this isn't going away. They do understand that value proposition. They tell it to me every time I meet them. That's not the debate. The debate is all around how they politically need to respond to the Royal Commission's paper, and what that's going to look like. And we have to wait and see. I guess the Liberal Party have already given us a glimpse of the future, and I'm meeting on Monday. I'm back in Canberra for the day to meet with the Liberal Party, catch up with Stuart Robert and his team, and try and see through exactly where things land or don't land, what other discussions are realistic to have, where that debate continues or doesn't continue. I think we need to understand the reality of life. We'll have to see where those conversations land. What we've got to do is have the best outcomes that we can get from what transpires from all of what's happening at the moment. And it appears, and I don't know, and I will know tomorrow on Monday, whether or not that conversation on looking at alternative opportunities, alternative considerations to where they've already landed. So remember, where the Liberal Party landed, they came out straight away and said, as of 1 July 2020, next year, trail commissions are banned on new loans only. So not talking about past, not talking about what's already exists, new loans only. And then when we go into 3 years out, It's a review of the structure with the upfronts and seeing how that's going. It's not saying that in 3 years' time upfronts are banned. It doesn't say that at all. Completely different. It's a review, and then that will be a review to see if in the future the structure may change. Personally, I don't like that. It leaves a question mark over the future. I'd rather have greater solidity to what that actually will look like, and hopefully we'll be able to get a stronger position on that. I dare say probably not, and then it'll come down to whatever the Labor Party's going to say once they're ready to say something. Hopefully that's soon. The concerns I'm expressing is that there's a lot of stress on our industry. This whole remuneration conversation started back in November 2015 when Kelly O'Dwyer announced that a review into mortgage broking commissions, remunerations, and it's been going ever since. So the stress on our industry is significant. I know people that have already had mental breakdowns are in hospital at the moment. We're reaching out to help them as well. So this isn't just a conversation for a conversation. This is actually real life stuff, and it needs to be dealt with and sorted out and looked after. So we need decisions. We need them now. These things just can't continue on forever. The stress on our industry and the damage it will do to people's lives is just unacceptable. Let's see if we can get some better shading there. So we will continue on to sort that out and make sure that government, politicians understand the gravity of the situation, and they're not tardy with their decisions, and make their decisions fairly clear. We need to understand what our future looks like, whether we like it or not. It's going to be whatever it's going to be, but what we need to be able to do is to prepare for it and understand it, and therefore work with it and make sure we're not eroding competition. We're not allowing the non-majors to fall into a bit of a heap so they can't distribute product. Make sure that interest rates don't unnecessarily rise, and we keep putting pressure on that competition. So within the FBAA, we work tirelessly on a strategic angle with these politicians. Additionally, on our website, there's marketing material, there's letters that you can use to write to your politicians, there's marketing assets there that you can use to promote on social media, and there's a lot more stuff coming out right now. So there's a whole lot of things there we can do to support. We do strongly recommend that you support the change.org petition. It is exceptionally important with petitions, if they're going to have any value whatsoever, that it is a collective voice that's not fragmented by a whole host of different petitions, and they all don't get the right sort of numbers to actually make a difference. So I implore those that are looking at these things to settle down, focus in on one or two, try not to splinter that voice any further, because it's going to mean it's going to have no impact whatsoever, or not the impact it should have, let me put it that way. And support your aggregators' campaigns. They've got hashtag campaigns and some going, so do we. Support those because they all add to a collective position as well. And understand, I guess, this whole thing in politics is a bit like playing football. If we all try and tackle the player around the same point, you get a strong chance of that player just running straight through your defence lines. So, yeah, the MFAA have their campaign. They're doing a good job. We have our campaigns and strategies. So some of us are going for the gut, some of us are going for the legs, and some are going around the head. It's important that we don't all aim for the same point. It would be a bad outcome if we did that. So all these different things that are happening are very relevant and a good reason why they are. And I know plenty of people saying, well, shouldn't we all get together and do the one thing? Well, we do have a collective voice as it is. What we've got to make sure is we don't fragment it too far so it loses its impact. But if we all come from the one point and that one direction fails, where's plan B? You've always got to have your options open, especially in what happens in politics. Yeah, I'm going to continue that discussion next week, spend more time in Canberra, and I'll come back to you then next week and give you a bit more of an update as to where I see things are at. Thanks, chat to you then.